just had a meeting with the producer of the film, Tabs, and we basically just spent like 2 hours just kind of just pulling our hair out at how we're gonna get funding for this project. It's just not easy doing this kind of thing. You miserable
And now we see it all tumbling down. Nation of fools up and the baddies. Just like us, they do what we do. With one exception, we do it better.
Hello YouTube. About like 8 or 9 months ago, I made 2 videos on this channel talking about a new film that I was working on. The first one was about naming the film, and the second one was basically asking you guys to give us money for the film. That film was Let Me Be. Let me be. Let me be. Let me be. Let Me Be has been a labor of love for like 18 months now, and we are so very, very close to it being done. And I thought I want to talk about it because I think I'm important. So right now it's a little bit of the old back and forth stage, looking at things like sound. Right now I have a sound update that I'm gonna go and have a look at, and we'll see how we're traveling. Are we nearly done? This is gonna be a bit of like an update, talking about Let Me Be, getting you guys to, I guess, the payoff if you put money into it. Look, I just felt creative today, and so you get this. All right, let's do it. This is a map, and maps, they tell you where to go. Not this map, because it's the world, but usual maps, they tell you where to go. That's what we didn't have with this film. It was our first film out of uni, which meant we were on our own. We couldn't rely on lecturers. Of course, we had conversations with them for advice and things like that, but we really were on our own here. So our first problem really was, how do we even get this thing off of the ground? How do we get funding? How do we get casting? How do we get locations, crew, with no money? That's where that video came in, where we were chatting. We basically pitched it to the audience in the request for a little bit of funding to help us out in the process. Luckily, we had a very generous crew that we put together that were all super keen to just make something because they're passionate about filmmaking, or they like the story. We had a really great team, same with casting. They all just love to do it for the art. Obviously it builds up your show reel and your portfolio, but really it's for the art form. So most of the money went to, basic unit things like catering and stuff like that, but then it also went towards some locations and then production design. Sorry Dan, DP man, you didn't get any money for gear. You can use your own. Alright, front door. Kitchen. Very trendy. Slightly different layout than we thought, so probably gonna have to rethink the blocking a little bit, but sometimes life do be like that. The casting process was also even more difficult than usual because we weren't just looking for people who could act, but also people that could play specific instruments. So luckily we found some really good actors, and then some of them had experience. Our drummer, Rowan, plays in a band, Re-Theater, and so that was perfect. But then Dylan, who we had to play a character called Josh, had never played bass before because he was a drummer, so he basically had to learn bass for it. Man picked it up like that, by the way, insane. And then we have Emma and Danon, who both had to learn guitar. Luckily Emma has an amazing voice, so everything kind of all came together. And not only did we now have a fantastic cast, but we got to have fun working with them to create a band. Everything was fine and dandy But then, tragedy struck.
Tragedy, sadness, sorrow. Suddenly one of our locations had begun to ghost us, and we weren't sure if one of our actors would be back in Perth ready for the shoot. We were all turning around, looking for someone to blame, many phone calls, arguing, furious. I'd never felt so alone, so abandoned by the world, on the verge of giving in. I was yelling to our Father, the Lord up in heaven, how dare he do this to us? How dare he put this pain upon me? We went on a journey of emotions, from anger to complete and utter sadness and despair, and finally, regret. Why did I ever start doing film? In the end, I turned to the most fatal sin of all, burning the holy script, the script of which so many of our livelihoods have been dependent on, burning in flames, the ultimate sin. We were all lost. There was nowhere left to turn.
It actually wasn't that big of a deal. We just faced it like any other problem that we'd faced so far. We persevered, we pushed on through, we just kept looking forward. It all worked out alright, and we made a pretty damn good film, if I do say so myself.
Roll, A001, scene 6, C for Charlie, take 1.
We were just two kids who were trying to live the teenage dream. We could see no reason why we should ever try to go to sleep. Remember every weekend we stayed out late and then went home to me. I wish that I could live that dream.
So now, 7 months on, and it's all worked out, we're almost there. We're in the home stretch. A big thing that I've started to think about a lot lately is the idea of manifesting something. Like you have an idea of something you want to do, like make this short film, make Let Me Be. And then, you know, it's such a big journey of how to actually get there. You know, it's a far stretch goal that you're going to be achieving over a period of time. I think internally it's important to tell yourself that you are just going to do this thing. It's not like I'm gonna try and do this. I'm gonna try and make this movie. Because if you try and make this movie, there's more chance of failing at making the movie. But if you just say, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna make this movie, we're gonna run it like a proper set, we're gonna have a big cast and crew on there, we're gonna make music for it, and it's gonna be the best film we've ever done. If you think that way, then you'll get it done, even if there is a lot of obstacles in your way. There's a few things that are relatively ambitious that I'm wanting to work towards at the moment. There's another project that we're in the early stages of developing, and that's one of those things that I just have in my head. We're gonna do this, and it's gonna be good. And I do believe that it is gonna work, and it's gonna be good. This whole film thing, or maybe it'll make sense one day. You know, if you write what you want to do onto a whiteboard, then every day you're gonna look at that whiteboard, and you're going to be working towards that goal, because every day you're going to feel like you need to do something to push you towards that goal. I guess in a very convoluted way, I'm just trying to say that you need to find a way to tell yourself that you're going to do something, and not just say like, I'm going to do that one day, or I'm going to try and do this today. It's a thing of, no, we're going to do it. You know, start right now, do it right now. The trailer for Let Me Be is out on our production company YouTube page. I'll link that down below so you can have a look. Check it out. That's like the ultimate climax of this video, right? Watching the trailer. To give you a little bit of a sneak peek of what's in store, I'm gonna I'll give you a sneak peek of the trailer, a few seconds, a bit of fun. Let me be, let me do it, let me be.
Ever think we could be doing so much more?
We're having fun.
All this time you thought we'd never pay the price.
What's going on with you?
Wowzers, wasn't that fun? Thank you so much for watching, listening to me ramble and talk. You know, film it's a long journey, it's a long road that we are traveling along, and I hope you enjoy listening to me talk about films and work on my own films. Maybe in the next video that you see of me, maybe I'll have had a haircut. Because this is what is dumb.